This podcast is hardly focused.
The French.
So your choice is here, Rebecca. We've got the saga of the Michigan man who appeared before
that
a judge. Okay, wow, right into this. All right, yeah. So this went viral a couple of weeks ago. I believe the incident actually happened in May, the middle of May, but the video went viral within the past couple of weeks. So guy named Corey Harris, this happening up in Michigan. Corey Harris is, he's got a scheduled court date. I guess because of the pandemic now, we have the luxury of going to court over Zoom. And I will just play the entire audio of what went down and what transpired.
People versus Corey Harris. Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
Okay. So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have a license.
That is what the charge is, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his
Yes.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Hello?
1 minute, Mr. Harris.
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
He's going to drive over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Harris, I'll be giving you a call.
This poor lawyer is like...
Head in hands.
Okay, here's the thing. He felt genuine. He looked genuinely surprised, as if he didn't make the connection either.
There's audio I can play from a follow-up news story because this, as I mentioned, it's a saga. So there's more to it, but he looks and sounds like someone who just isn't all there.
Okay.
He just has a lot of connections aren't being made.
Sure.
He just doesn't understand. He just doesn't understand to see the I guess, gravitas of the situation.
Well, there's people when they use Zoom, right, that think they're not going to notice your background. And he just thought he would be able to just be coy with this operation. I did not get that impression. Then there's others who just don't care, or they don't think that they will make the connection of what the charge is versus where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Or if, blur your background.
Right?
Like, you could probably maybe get away with it there.
Or just like pull over and get in the passenger seat.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that's any better.
That would be fun. I mean, they're probably not thrilled you're in transit for court, but they seem to, allow some flexibility. Yeah, should be fine. You just can't drive.
I feel like this happened a year or two ago where someone was in a very similar situation where they like had a suspended license or something and they zoomed into their court hearing and they were sitting in a car. It was stationary, but they were sitting in a car and like pretty much the same exact exchange happened. The judge is like, you realize why you're in court right now. Why are you sitting in a vehicle?
Well, you can be a passenger in a vehicle.
You can.
He might have been in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Here's from WXYZ in Detroit, a new twist on the saga, as they say.
Well, nothing went the way Corey Harris thought it was going to go in court today. The judge started off by slamming Corey Harris, saying he's never even had a valid driver's license. And the afternoon ended with Harris going to jail.
The person that needed to be blamed is the person that he was staring at in the mirror. He didn't do what he should have done.
The judge came ready to set the record straight with Corey Harris, who has claimed that he thought the suspension on his driver's license was removed 2 years ago.
That court and its friend of the court did nothing wrong. His driving privileges were unsuspended in 2022. That required Mr. Harris to do something. He didn't do it.
The judge said Harris never paid his clearance fees with the court or the Secretary of State to lift the suspension, but that's not all.
He has never had a Michigan license, ever.
We asked Harris yesterday if he ever had a valid driver's license.
Here we go.
He claimed he didn't remember. Do you ever recall having one? Having a driver's license?
I knew I had a permit. I knew that.
A driver's permit or?
I believe. I don't know. I can't say yes and I can't say no.
And that's odd because the Pittsfield Township police officer and prosecutor said during that October traffic stop, Corey Harris knew what was up.
At least twice during this traffic stop, he acknowledged to the officer that he did not have a valid license. Quote unquote, quote, actually, I don't have a valid license, close quote. The question was, are you a valid driver? Quote, I am not.
There was no error by anybody. It was a failure on the part of Mr. Harris to do certain things. Now, I grant you that sometimes that can be a complicated process, but it was certainly not anybody's fault that that didn't happen other than that wasn't paid.
Then came the unexpected.
He has a warrant for his arrest.
Corey Harris was taken into custody for what appears to be a 9-year-old bench warrant out of Allen Park.
So was I shocked? Absolutely. Did I want my client to walk in, then get escorted to the back? Absolutely not. That was not the plan.
The shocking thing about it is for a driving while license suspended that he didn't take care of.
It should be something that a lesson for all of us. Handle your business. At the end of the day, handle your business.
In Ann Arbor, Kimberly Craig, 7 News, Detroit.
This is unfortunate because it felt like he knew how to drive, you know?
Yeah.
He's been doing it enough that this formality, I don't know. How much does it cost now to get a license?
It's got to be cheap.
I would think
anyone can
so.
do it as long as you like.
I mean, cheap. Like some people can't afford like $150. I feel like there's got to be some. It's save up for it because once you do it once, you don't have to worry about it again. Oh, well, that's not true. Obviously, you got to get things renewed, but it feels infrequent.
I mean, I am of the mind that, and this is a very controversial opinion, but once you hit a certain age, then you should get retested. To maintain your license. Some sort of.
We disagree a little bit on this, but yeah, even so, okay. If he doesn't have to worry about that for X amount of years, if he just gets it now, okay. But is this just a laziness thing, or is this a true can't afford it?
I feel like he just doesn't know what's going on, and
you know what, the RMV doesn't make it easy. So
they don't.
The form, yeah. I mean, case in point, trying to buy my car. How many times did I go and get rejected despite desperately trying to follow the instructions as it was laid out?
Mm-hmm.
3 to 4 times.
Yeah. And while we were there watching.
The people watching.
Some dude have a meltdown over.
Rightfully so. He was really trying to keep it together, but also remind everybody that this process is awful. He seemed self-aware that it was not this lady's fault, but she just was the face of the process and had to hear it.
He had to take his anger out on.
Yeah, I was on his side.
Yeah.
But also he was a little bit wild too.
Sure. I'm trying to find where I read this, but Corey Harris has to get, so he can get his license once he's out of prison, but he has to literally go through the same process that everyone goes through, where he has to get his learner's permit first.
Okay, but he doesn't need to There's no like 6-month probationary period.
Oh, that much I don't know.
Right? I think if you're over 18, I thought you don't need a permit if you're over 18.
I think they're going to make him get his permit.
There's some, it's probably state by state, but how long was he in jail for?
Briefly.
What was his bail? Was it the amount of a driver's license?
It's like $500 or something.
Oh no, that doesn't seem like that's good for him.
And the poor guy's like, I guess his wife is very sick too. I'm guessing he's been using his wife's car and he was pulling into his wife's doctor's office.
That's unfortunate. You should just go fund me a license like costs. I feel like people would have a heart.
Well, it also seems like, he can't get his story straight too, because he's claiming that when he was arrested for having a suspended license, he's claiming that was a clerical error. But then you just heard in that audio, he straight up told a cop, I do not have a license.
That was his clerical error.
Right.
He wasn't lying.
Operator error. I also learned I don't know if it's like this in Massachusetts, but I learned that in Michigan. So Corey Harris has a state ID and he gets it renewed every year. He does not have a driver's license, and in the state of Michigan, you cannot have both. You either have a state ID
that's
or
universal.
Okay, so
actually, no, maybe not.
Maybe he thought that he had a state ID, so he was good.
Because that costs money too. All right,
it does, but the state IDs also straight up say on them in big text, not a driver's license.
Yeah,
You say do in Massachusetts.
I want to know what's really going on here. I also just love if people are really like, the rules don't apply to me. They're not malicious about it. They play dumb, but secretly think the rules don't apply to them. I kind of love that.
I should show you the video from that clip I just played where he was being interviewed, where he said, I can't say yes, I can't say no, because he is making the same exact face that he makes in the video, in the Zoom video, when it dawns on him that he has violated the very thing that he's supposed to be in court for. Just that dumbfounded.
Right. He's not even thinking about this like day to day.
No. Well, on that note,
I hope he gets his license.
Bring it back full circle. Other things going on in the news.
You should say he was framed.
Yeah, it's a clerical error.
Yeah, they framed him. They deleted his license.
They deleted it out of the system.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, to cover something else up. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but
they're covering up the child support payments that they're claiming he didn't make.
Oh. Okay.
That's why he
I didn't
have his
realize
license.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess he lost his license because Corey Harris lost his license over unpaid child support payments.
that can happen.
It can.
Oh, that's really fun to know.